Let's talk about productivity. This is Work From Home, the remote working podcast for you to help you stay connected, productive and sane whilst working from your home office or your shed office or your, I don't know, where else are people working? I'd love to know some really wacky, remote working places. If you're living somewhere weird, I want to hear from you. Anyway, my name is Harry.
I'm Alex.
Brilliant. Covered that. And today we're talking about productivity. And Alex, you've read something that's ground your gears.
Yeah, so to set up, there's loads of productivity hacks out there at the moment. I mean, the internet has been awash with them since forever because it's very easy, bite-sized content to digest.
Yeah, what tool should you use? What's going to make you just what's going to get you through your emails 10 times faster? This one trick will change your life forever. And maybe some of them work for some people, I don't know. But I think a lot of them's a lot of talk. And I think you could spend so much time figuring out these new productivity hacks and not actually doing the work that it's a really, really great form of procrastination, because you can tell everybody and yourself that you're working on your productivity, but actually what you're doing is not doing the work that you should be doing in the first place. But anyway.
But why this initially grabbed my attention, and this is all stuff from a guy called Nir Eyal. He's written a book, of course, because everybody has. The first thing he talks about is understanding why you get distracted. I think this is a really good point, because often distractions just sort of treated as something that's out there in the ether, and it just all happens to us for whatever reason, because we can't be bothered maybe. But there are specific things that lead towards it. The core thing it says here that causes us to get distracted is discomfort.
Okay. As in physical discomfort, or what do you mean?
Physical or mental. Is that when we're presented with negative stimulus, our brain very quickly tries to get us to change tack and move on to something else so we can avoid that discomfort, which for different people means different things. For me, it means, checking the phone, wonder what's going on Twitter. And that's the reason why my phone is on the other side of the room in a drawer where I can't get at it.
That's very good self-control. I admire that.
Well, it's from a lack of self-control, because it needs to be. I mean, if I had a padlockable drawer, it would be, because it's so insidious. It just worms its way back into your life so easily.
So, what is it that Nir has written here that's disgruntled you so?
Well, he says that if we're going to deal with these distractions and make ourselves more focused, we need to do away with the to-do list. We need to forget about it.
Right.
Which, for me, would be terrible, I think.
Right.
Insofar as I run my weekly, almost my entire life off of a to-do list.
Right. So you feel personally affronted by the suggestion that the system that you've lived by for years is wrong. Why is it wrong? What's his argument?
Well, he says that the headline thing is that he says that it's the worst thing you can do for your personal productivity.
Right.
And he says people have been told that if you put everything on a list and then run your life on that list, that's exactly what you shouldn't be doing. And he says that rather than using the list to run your life, you should write down what it is that you're doing independent of the list, in terms of, and use that as a way of being like mindful and thinking about how you've been going about your day rather than using this list. And he says one of the main issues is that people wake up and turn to their to-do list instead of their calendar. And often people structure their to-do list to do the easy, urgent or fun things rather than actually doing the larger, more strategic goals.
Yep. So there's the idea of eat the frog that I think has been discussed on here before. And it's this idea of that you should, eating the frog is obviously the doing the worst thing first, doing the thing that you're dreading the most, get it done first and get it out of the way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't read all of it that he's written here, but surely a to-do list can help with that. You can look at your to-do list and say, rather than, doing your to-do list from the easy items first, consciously make the decision to do the hard things first. What does he say about that?
Yeah, so what he does is, instead of having a specific to-do list, he uses something that works more on like a weekly or a monthly basis, and that parcels out time. So you say, today I'm going to spend 6 hours doing this or 3 hours doing this, rather than saying, today I'm going to send X amount of emails, or at this specific time I'm going to be doing this.
Yeah, Trevor Lohrbeer had some interesting ideas around this stuff of different ways to approach your to-do list. And so I think it'd be worth going and listening to the episode we've done with him on that kind of subject. But, you know, even with that, I think that the to-do list was still kind of relevant. So I'm not sure. Maybe I haven't read this article. You've read it and you're kind of bringing it to us. So I'm going to have to go and read it and see if I agree or disagree. But on the face of it, certainly through your biased description of it, that seems kind of silly to me. But I kind of understand, I guess, what he's getting at.
To be fair to him, I think what the person this is aimed at is someone who is making more strategic decisions, who maybe runs a business or a team and needs to think about things a bit more in the abstract, in terms of, we need to put X amount of time towards this task, or this is our, key goal.
Yep.
We need to, rather than saying, I need to send X amount of emails this morning, my goal is actually, over the next month, I need to sell more of this particular thing. Or we need to bring costs down, and be guided by that. And I think in that sense, it's fair enough. But I would say that these are the sort of principles that you could apply to most jobs. But I know, especially specifically for me, it would be a terrible idea.
Yeah. Well, and I think even for anyone, like, it doesn't matter how senior and strategically thinking your job is, like, you still have stuff that has to get done, right? Like, you still have that meeting to prepare for, or you still have that contract to write up, or whatever. Like, those are things that you have to get done, and if you haven't got them written down, you could forget them because you're too busy thinking about your your blue sky thinking outside the box, man.
Yeah. And also, personally, I much prefer the way of having these little tasks that are anywhere from half an hour long to 4 hours long, and it just means that you get to tick things off. You get a win, and then a win, and then a win, and then a...
And that's the thing. So that's one of the things that Trevor Lohrbeer, when I spoke to him, that's one of the things he mentioned is the idea of the dopamine hit you get every time you strike something off your list. Like, that's really motivating, actually, is if you've got your to-do list in front of you and you do a thing and you scratch it off, that gives you a little dopamine hit and really motivates you to keep going and continuing to tick those things off. I think certainly you're one of those people that's really effective for, right? Like, you get a lot of pleasure from finishing a thing and moving on and that being done. And I think that's, and that helps that pattern to develop of just like, cool, finish that thing, onto the next task, finish that thing, onto that next task. And every time you tick that box, it's just sort of reaffirming that pattern.
And also, I would say that this idea of parceling out time, I've gotten much better at it, but I'm still not very good at actually saying how much time it's going to take me to do something.
Yes. Well, again, Trevor had something to say on that. It's a really interesting, honestly, it's a really interesting conversation. So yeah, listening to this episode, please go back and listen to that interview with him. So yeah, how are you approaching your productivity? We focused a lot on this idea of to-do lists being a bad idea. So what do you use to-do lists? Do you massively agree with us or disagree? I'd love to know. Email us at wfh@lowerstreet.co. If you enjoyed this episode and you think productivity is something that one of your colleagues, friends, family would get some value from, then please do share it with them, because it would really help us reach more remote workers trying to figure all this stuff out. As ever, thanks so much for listening. We'll be back very soon, and we'll see you soon.